Did Westworld secretly suck? Hi everyone. Last weekend we saw the big finale to Westworld. After a season of building intricate mysteries in a luxuriously designed world, Westworld finally came to a close in a sort of kind of satisfying fashion. And I have super mixed feelings about it, if you can't already tell. On the one hand, the show was gorgeous, it was incredibly well acted, and it had some really cool concepts to build off of. However, the time and attention that went to set design and the intricately planned puzzles didn't really go into making fully realized characters or a propulsive plot. In fact, the only narrative trick it really seemed to have was mysteries. How can we make the mystery deeper or more complicated or harder to figure out? Well, some of them were hard to figure out. In the end, it kind of felt like putting a jigsaw puzzle together that you knew there were some pieces missing and you weren't going to be able to make the picture that was on the box. Pretty much every character on the show was kind of a blank cipher without real relatable goals. Dolores started off in the amazing pilot as a really interesting, intriguing character, and her goal to find consciousness is really interesting, but she spent most of the season as a blank slate. While what drove forward in The Man in Black was so broad and Shakespearean that it wasn't relatable. Doesn't anybody in this world know how to just commit suicide? It doesn't need to be this grand operatic thing. I'd argue that the most interesting and engaging character for the majority of the series was Maeve, because her desire to get out of the park made a lot of sense and it gave her an opportunity to, do things. But at the end, what's the reveal? That she was being controlled the whole time too, by presumably Ford. Which, by the way, how many episodes can you end with the big reveal that Ford had a plan the whole time before it gets boring? Nobody, nothing really ever posed a threat to Ford for the whole series, and for me that's not really engaging. Although I will admit the reveal that he, I guess, wasn't the big bad but the big-ish good was interesting, although he definitely did murder people. And I guess that passes as what could be complex characterization if we spend any time exploring his arc. There's a really interesting arc there of a guy that hated his partner, resented what he was trying to do, and then over the years changed his opinion. Maybe instead of one more episode following young William and Dolores, we could have spent some time exploring how Ford's opinions change and actually made him into a fully fleshed, relatable character. I don't know. Listen, going into the series, I was promised a robot revolt and I didn't get it. All right, well, I sort of got it in the last couple minutes of the last episode. It doesn't count. It's like instead of looking at their core story and saying, hey, how do we build off of this for future seasons? They're like, how do we stretch this out for as long as possible? A great example of the show needlessly gumming up the works is when Maeve was trying to escape the facility with that technician that helped her realize her full potential. And we go into another area with a new logo and there's a bunch of samurai around and we're like, oh no, it's Samurai World. There's other worlds, there's other parks. How cool is that? And Maeve looks at the technician and she's like, what is this? And he looks at her and he's like, it's complicated. Is it though? It's Samurai World. It's another park. Just say that. Just say there are more than one park. Let it be a reveal. Why does it need to be another mystery? Jonathan Nolan and the other creators are keeping mum on it too. Like, is it Samurai World? Yes, it is. Unless it's some sort of like time traveling area and you're going to introduce something crazy like that into the show, just admit that it's Samurai World. Let us enjoy the reveal. Not everything needs to be a complicated mystery. Just tell a story, for crying out loud. Thinking back to this season, I can't help but think it would have been better as like 8 episodes, with 4 of them being dedicated to the story told in this season, understanding the intricacies of the park and slowly seeding the coming disaster. And the next 4 episodes is the robots' battle with the humans. That's the basic premise of the movie, and you would have had that complete story in the first season. Now you may be going, well, where do they go from there? Well, imagine this. What if the first season ended with the robots are in full swing revolt and Maeve is leaving the park, which seems, I guess, to be her design. And as she's leaving, we finally see the outside world that the humans live in as we find out that the military is coming to put down this robot revolt. And so the next season is like, oh man, how does this group of hosts fight the government, fight the military? And that's where you reveal, wait, there are other parks. There's Samurai World, there's Medieval World, there's Roman World like there was in the movies. And if we put those robots online, we would have a bigger host army. And now you've got full-on war in season 2. You could even build off that idea and introduce the idea that there are these dumbed down, more basic hosts that work in the real world as like, I guess, robot maids or working in fast food. And the idea that if this consciousness got out from the park into the real world, it could wreak major havoc. I think they could build a pretty compelling arc for like 3 seasons and does what I've kind of described here with building out the story. That said, I understand I'm not one of the people that is behind creating this show, and they've done an excellent job. The show has a strong, fervent fan base, and I think that's well deserved. And I don't know all the intricacies that went into building the show, so far be it for me to say I could do it better, because I probably couldn't. Honestly, now with Ford out of the picture and hopefully his machinations with him, I have a lot of interest to see where season 2 goes. Maybe now without the puppet master, the puppets have more room to grow and become fully formed characters. And maybe we can ditch the whole multiple timeline things and tell a straightforward story that's engaging engaging and interesting with things that are happening dynamically. Then again, they've already admitted that it's going to take at least another 2 years for the next season to come out, and by then I might be over this whole thing and not care anymore. And also, if you knew it was going to take 2 years before you could do the next season, why didn't you just tell the full story of the robot revolution in this season? I wanted more robots revolting, if you couldn't tell. Revolting robots. Alright, that's enough of my ranting. What did you think of this season of Westworld? Let me know in the comments down below, or tweet me at DJ Talks Trash. And don't forget to check out my podcast with Sam Bashor, Only Stupid Answers. We drop new episodes every Monday on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iTunes, Audio Boom, and many more platforms. Thanks for joining me. Have a great week.